Welcome dear students. Welcome to our today's online class. We are studying about acids, bases and salts. And in our today's class, we will discuss on the classification of acids. So let's start our today's class, classification of acids. Acids can be classified broadly in three bases, and they are their origin, their basicity and their concentration. So based on these three bases or points, acids can be classified. So let us start classification of acids based on origin first. If the acids are derived from plants or organic things, then they are called organic acids. And these organic acids, they contain carbon as the most essential element. Is that clear? So organic acids are acids which are derived from plants or organic things, and they contain carbon as the essential element. For example, formic acid HCOOH, acetic acid CH3COOH, oxalic acid COOH2. There are other organic acids such as oxalic acid, tartaric acid, uric acid, lactic acid present in milk. Acetic acid is also called vinegar, and we all use this in our kitchen. So these, if you see over here, these organic acids, they contain carbon as the most important element apart from hydrogen. Now if the acids are derived or obtained from minerals, then they are called inorganic acids. That is why inorganic acids are also called mineral acids. For example, hydrochloric acid HCl, nitric acid HNO3, sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, carbonic acids, these are all inorganic acids because they are obtained from minerals. Now you can clearly see over here that carbonic acid contains carbon, so it must be an organic acid. There must be a doubt in your mind. But this carbonic acid is not derived from plant, it is derived from minerals. Therefore, this carbonic acid, although it contains carbon, it is not an organic acid, but it is an inorganic acid. But carbonic acid is a weak acid. Now if we compare organic acid and inorganic acids, organic acid is a weak acid, whereas inorganic acids are strong acids. The only exception in inorganic acid is carbonic acid. This carbonic acid, although being a mineral acid, is a weak acid. Is that clear, students? Now let us classify acids based on their basicity. Now first of all, what do we mean by basicity? Basicity means the number of hydronium ion that can be produced by ionization of one molecule of acid in its aqueous solution. It means that how many hydronium ions does an aqueous molecule of an acid, one molecule of an acid produces, that is called basicity. So based on basicity, acids are classified as monobasic acids. That is, if one molecule of acid produces only one hydronium ion. For example, HCl, nitric acid, this is acetic acid, they all produces only one hydronium ion. One molecule of these acids produces only one hydronium ion. Therefore, they are called monobasic acids. But after seeing the formula of acetic acid, there must be a question in your mind, and that is, now acetic acid contains 4 hydrogen atoms. So why it cannot produce 4 hydronium ions, right? Its basicity should be 4. But in reality, if you see the formula of acetic acid, in its structural way, over here only this hydrogen which is connected to this oxygen atom. Only this hydrogen atom ionizes. Okay, the remaining hydrogen atom, they do not ionize to produce hydronium ion. Only this hydrogen atom, one hydrogen atom, gets ionized in aqueous solution state to produce one hydronium ion. Therefore, acetic acid, although contains 4 hydrogen atoms in one molecule, it produces only one hydronium ion. That is why it is a monobasic acid. Is that clear, students? If one molecule of acid produces 2 hydronium ions in its aqueous state, then the acid is known as dibasic acid. For example, sulfuric acid produces 2 hydronium ions, therefore it is a dibasic acid. Okay, phosphoric acid, this is phosphorus acid, H3PO3. Okay, this phosphorus acid, although it contains 3 hydrogen atoms, there are only 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms which produces 2 hydronium ions. Therefore, this phosphorus acid is also a dibasic acid. Now, if one molecule of acid in its aqueous solution produces 3 hydronium ions, then they are called tribasic acids. For example, phosphorus acid. Now, this is phosphorus acid because it has 4 oxygen atoms. Earlier, there were only 3. Okay, so this is phosphorus acid, produces 3 hydronium ion. Citric acid, okay, derived from citrus fruits such as oranges, lemons, and this is an organic acid. Okay, so these acid produces 3 hydronium ion. That is, one molecule of these acids produces 3 hydronium ion in its aqueous state. So they are tribasic acids. And similarly, if the one molecule of acid produces 4, then they are called tetrabasic. Okay, for example, silicic acid, okay, has basicity 4. Okay, so we will restrict up to tribasic acids over here. Now let's move on to the third way of classifying acids, and that is based on concentration. Now, concentration of an acid means the amount of water present in an acid. Okay, so concentration of an acid means the amount of acid present in a definite amount of water. So based on the amount of water and the amount of acid in that water present, we say the acid is either concentrated or dilute. So there are 2 types of acids based on concentration. The first one is concentrated. For example, we say concentrated hydrochloric acid. Okay, if the amount of acid present is little high in that water, in a fixed amount of water, then we say concentrated. So HCl acid can be concentrated. Nitric acid, if its amount is more in a definite quantity of water, then it is called concentrated nitric acid. In the same way, if the amount of sulfuric acid is more in a definite amount of water, then we say concentrated sulfuric acid. But if the amount of acid is less in a fixed amount of water, then they are called dilute acids. And how do we write them? Dilute HCl, dilute nitric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. So concentration basically means the amount of acid present in a definite quantity of water. So it is related to presence of water. Okay, so these are the different ways by which acids can be classified. I want you to make a flowchart of this classification in the same way and keep it with you so that you can quickly see the classification of acid in one page itself. Now there are a few points to be noted, and they are: concentration of acid simply means the amount of water present in the acid and not the strength of the acid. So when we say concentrated sulfuric acid, we are not saying that concentrated acid is stronger than dilute acid. Okay, so concentration of acid simply means the amount of water present in the acid and not the strength of the acid. Whereas strength of an acid is the concentration of hydronium ions it produces in its aqueous solution. So there is a difference between concentration of acid and strength of an acid. Concentration of an acid means the amount of water present in the acid, whereas strength of an acid is the concentration of hydronium ions it produces. How many hydrogen ions it produces in its aqueous solution state, that is known as strength of an acid. If the acid produces more hydronium ion, then it is called strong acid, whereas if the acid produces less hydronium ions, then it is called weak acid. Organic acids are weak acids because they do not ionize completely to produce hydronium ions in the aqueous solution, while inorganic acids are strong acids because they ionizes completely to produce hydronium ions in their aqueous solution. So if you compare organic acid and inorganic acid, in organic acid we'll find less hydronium ion in the aqueous solution, whereas we'll find more hydronium ions in the aqueous solution of inorganic acids. And that is why dilute hydrochloric acid is a stronger acid than highly concentrated acid, which proves that concentration does not tell us the strength of an acid. Is that clear? Now dilute, how do we dilute acids then? Water is not added to acid to dilute it. Okay, we sometimes can make mistake like that. We take acid in one beaker and start pouring water to it in order to dilute. So that is not the right way. Water is not added to acid to dilute it. Why? As the process is exothermic. So the process of dilution is exothermic, which means large amount of heat gets produced, due to which splashing of acid solution may occur, and the heat produced can also break the apparatus. So adding water to acid is strictly no. Is that clear, students? So what is the correct process? So to dilute acid, what do we need to do? We need to pour acid gently into water in small amounts with constant stirring. So we need to take water in beaker and then add or pour acid gently and in small quantities, and also stir the mixer continuously, okay, so that the heat produced gets minimized. Is that clear, students? So this much for today. Based on today's learning, there is an assignment given to you. Please complete it and send it to me on time. Until we meet next time, stay safe and do all things well.